Hi, Pastor Steve here. I want to thank you for listening today, and I want to encourage you because I know that God will truly bless you as you study His Word. So hey, let's get started.
Hi, church. Steve again. Today's parable is just 2 verses long. Mark chapter 13, verses 28 and 29. There, Jesus says, "Now learn this lesson from the fig tree." Well, we can learn a lot from nature, can't we? After all, its designer is also the one who wants to guide us through life and help us walk in His will. So is it any wonder then that He'd actually embed signs and symbols into nature for our instruction? Well, He certainly makes one of those connections for us here in this parable. And notice from the passage that He specifically calls us to learn something from this parable, a parable that centers on how a fig tree functions. He says, as soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves start to come out, well, you know that summer is near. So a fig tree has a system built into it that indicates the timing of things. When the tree starts to sprout leaves, it means that summertime is near. It's a steady and reliable routine that repeats itself year after year. Well, here in Kansas, we have something pretty similar. During this time of year that we're in right now, trees and flowers are budding and blooming. But we also have another sign that summer's approaching. Thunderstorms have already begun popping up. And when we see those dark clouds starting to form, we know exactly what's coming next, don't we? Because it's a regular, reliable rhythm that God has built into nature. And Jesus attaches this truth to a spiritual reality. In verse 29, he says, "Even so, when you see these things happening, you know that it is near, that it's right at the door." Now, in context, Jesus is actually referring to signs that will precede His return to earth. And you can read about it in greater detail in Mark 13, verses 5 through 27. And when we see these things taking place, we know what's going to happen next. It's like the fig tree announcing what season is coming next by putting out its leaves. Again, we can learn a lot from nature. Not only does it instruct us on the transition of seasons and the passage of time, but nature also points us to the inevitability of God's greater work. He doesn't want us to be caught off guard at all about this, especially when it comes to His return. That's something that He wants us to be ready for and waiting for. And the fig tree, along with the rest of His creation, serves to keep us focused on it. So now, church, I've got a little bit of a homework assignment for you and for your family. First, I want to challenge you to go back and read what Jesus actually said in Mark 13, verses 5 through 27. And then talk about how you would summarize the point of the parable of the fig tree. And then second, what can we learn from nature? That should be a fun conversation, especially with your children. And then finally, what are some ways that you can be more mindful of God's greater work in your life? Hey, stay safe, church, and keep up the good work. I think our efforts are really paying off. And I can't wait till we can meet again in person. Until then, may God bless you as you find innovative and creative ways to get in the story.
Thanks again for listening today. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like more information about our church, or if you just want to share what God's been doing in your life, drop us a line, give us a call. Again, may God bless you.